Hiya, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
You want to go do a podcast?
Sure.
Jump in. This is Binging Barbie, where the bravest, most advanced podcast in the galaxy is recorded with unique co-hosts and guests for any movie, no matter where it takes them. When toy movies and 2000 nostalgia strikes, the most powerful podcast is ready. Binging Barbie. We binge Barbie. I'm your host, John, and with me, I have my co-host. Listen, you little piece of scrap metal! I'll have you recycled into a little... Oh, crap, we're recording. Yeah, hi. This is a podcast about toy franchises, and also 2000s nostalgia, and other, whatever that fancy word you put in the script is, euphemeria.
Ephemera.
Yeah, that too. This week we are continuing our deep dive into the Bionicle series by talking about its heir that came afterwards. Its
Successor?
replacement. Yeah, it's replacement, essentially. That's what it felt like at the time. Lego Hero Factory. And we are starting this with talking about the first 5 episodes, which includes the Rise of the Rookies and Ordeal of Fire. So the first 2 years, the seasons of this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this was released a little strangely. So yeah, we're covering the Rise of the Rookies movie, which is actually 4 individual episodes that were then packaged as a movie. And then we're also covering the as you said, Ordeal of Fire, which is its own standalone episode, but with the way that the arcs work out in the later episodes, this was the easiest place to cut it off, so
yeah,
I'll probably
definitely.
just title the episode Rise of the Rookies, but we are covering Ordeal of Fire as well,
Yes.
or at least mentioning it. I don't know how deep we'll get into the specifics of it.
Or anything else, I don't know.
But yeah, this is, yeah, it's kind of, I do feel like we have to address why we're covering this alongside Bionicle. I forget, was it your idea or my idea?
It was probably my idea.
Okay.
I mentioned it, and you're like, "Oh yeah, okay, let's do that too."
Yeah, because I think it makes a lot of sense because this is the direct response to Bionicle, right? We've just covered the 4 Bionicle movies as well as a full episode on lore, and you can tell based on how much time we spent talking about that, Bionicle just got very unwieldy as a franchise. There's a lot of lore, a lot of stuff going on, and you ended up with this situation where they tried to do a soft reboot with the Legend Reborn and the sort of the later arc of the series, but
sales didn't really match the requirements, so
yeah, so
they
they're like,
ended up
okay,
with Hero Factory, which is
yeah,
like aesthetically in the beginning pretty much using a lot of the same pieces and parts that Bionicle has. But yeah, no, I remember Hero Factory. I remember the first teaser that they released that we were not happy at all. We're like, this crap is what's replacing Bionicle. Like, oh, they're using the same like basic molds and parts. Oh, we're angry. We're ugh. But that's way back when.
yeah, it is interesting. We'll talk about the response and sort of comparisons with Bionicle.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, this line ran from 2010 to 2014, and it had a very similar setup. Like you can tell they were trying to recreate Bionicle, but having learned some lessons from what they did with Bionicle. So we have the same thing where we have 6 elemental heroes and they're
Quote
fighting.
unquote
Yeah,
elemental. It's more like color schemed
yeah,
heroes with
um,
somewhat themed weaponry.
yeah, yeah. Especially like the fire and ice; those are the big ones.
Yeah. The blue one is electricity in this one
Okay,
instead of water.
yeah. Green is kind of whatever green is.
Red power pew pew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
It's like
these
it's
are like,
jungle-y. Yeah.
yeah, and they're fighting these evil forces, which they don't get into. We'll talk about the overarching story of the franchise,
The
but
very simplistic story, which
yeah,
is just good guys fight bad guys Each new wave is just different bad guys. There you go.
Yep. So let's not spoil it for the audience, but do you know what the big twist of the Hero Factory series was going to be?
Um, no.
Okay. We'll talk about that next episode because I don't want to spoil. I guess it doesn't super matter, but it's more relevant
Or
to
if
the
I
next
did, I don't
episode than it is
remember. I
here.
didn't really care what it
Yeah.
was, to be
We'll
honest.
talk about it because there is more going on here, but the series actually was cut off before they were able to reveal what was actually going on.
Hmm,
But
what
yeah,
a
for
shame.
the first few years, 6 heroes, bunch of villains fighting each other. And the idea of this is it's a factory. So these heroes are built and upgraded in order to fight these different fight for justice in the universe. That would
Yeah.
be whatever space they're
Be
in.
be their special police that come in
Yeah.
and beat the bad guys.
Yeah. And yeah, the lore, as you were saying, is very sort of simplified compared to Bionicle. Um, there's, I mean, it's more similar to where Bionicle kind of started. Um, we've kind of gone back zero, blank slate. We're doing Bionicle, but doing it a little bit differently this time.
Yeah, there's even less in the Hero Factory than Bionicle, because
Yeah,
Bionicle is all about buying all the different sets plus the different color masks that they have. Hero
yeah,
Factory, it's just the heroes. There's no accessory sets or accessory masks to add to them. It's just
yeah,
here's this wave and then here's this wave. There's not much of the collectible aspect of the series and more of just here's an upgrade to our hero.
yeah, yeah. And the other difference here is that all of the lore is told through the TV show. So there are
TV
spin-off
shows
books.
slash specials.
Yeah, yeah, the series we'll call it.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, there are spin-off books, but those were actually Greg Farschi wrote the spin-off books, but rather than with Bionicle, he was sort of serving a more he was leading the story, especially with the later stuff. Um, but here he's just basing it off of what the work they're doing on the TV show.
Mm,
So instead of having, oh, the story starts out with this game and then it continues in the books and then there's the comics and all of these things, they're like, nope, we're just doing the series. You can get all of the lore there. um
yeah,
I think most of the series was like posted online as well.
it was like posted on their Lego Factory website,
Yeah,
Hero Factory website. I don't know why I keep saying Lego. Or on YouTube,
yeah,
or like what these first episodes were. They were on Nickelodeon at the time.
yeah. So they're very much, I think they're looking at Bionicle and how when you got to the later years of Bionicle, it was very difficult for new fans to like get into the story. So here
Sure.
it's just you watch the episodes that have come before and now you're caught up. Now you
Yeah.
know who the characters are and
Mm.
what the deal is and all of that.
And also pivoting back towards the younger audience instead
Yeah.
of the Bionicle audience, which had grown up. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so
Yeah.
these episodes here were released September 10, 2010 through April 11, 2011. Um Directed by Mark Baldo. He did the first 4 episodes, so the Rise of the Rookies arc.
Hmm.
And he
Yeah.
was the director of Bionicle, The Legend Reborn, and as well, Barbie, A Perfect Christmas. John, you weren't on the Legend Reborn episode, so you didn't get to hear that tidbit there.
No. Okay.
And according to Letterboxd, we have seen 3 of his 6 films he's credited for on Letterboxd for this podcast now.
Nice.
So we're halfway through his filmography here. We'll have to see if we ever make it to the rest. Um,
Okay.
One of them is a 6-minute Barbie short, so don't think we'll do a
Ah.
dedicated episode to that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the the Ordeal of Fire episode is directed by Howard E. Baker, who is an animation director who worked on Rugrats, the Lego Adventures of Clutch Powers. Did you ever
Hmm.
watch that?
I remember watching advertisements for it, but I never
Okay.
saw it.
We had the DVD, so I
Hmm.
watched it a few times as a kid. Sort of a proto Lego movie. I think it came out around the same time.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember. Yeah.
yeah. But then, yeah, Baker also directed episodes of the series Eon Flux, which season 3 of the show, which is, I haven't seen that. I have seen the earlier stuff, which is, I think that's Peter Chung. And
Okay.
that stuff is really odd and interesting. And I have not gotten to this point yet. But it's like, yeah, seeing that, I was like, oh, this is interesting that he then went on to be like a Lego director. Because the work that they were doing on Eon Flux was very odd. Um, but yeah, these episodes were then written. Sean Catherine Derrick, who wrote The Legend Reborn, wrote this first arc, the Rise of the Rookies. And then Jesse Paranol wrote The Ordeal of Fire. He's a TV writer who is not credited on IMDb with the show, but his name is in the credits of the episode. Um, Apparently, he
Okay.
worked on the 2014 Dracula show, like that Sherlock era, tried to appeal to like the Tumblr demographic Dracula TV show.
Ew, okay.
Yeah, I have vague memories of that show existing. I didn't ever watch it, but and then yeah, I didn't see a credited art director for these episodes, but we do have some concept art done by Christian Faber, who I bring him up here because we talked about him, I believe, when we talked
He,
about Bionicle.
he's one of the original creators of Bionicle.
Yeah,
It's pretty much his creation. So,
yeah. And then he served a very key role in creating Hero Factory as well.
which you can somewhat tell, it has the similar
Yeah.
elements to it, even on an artistic level.
Yeah. Yeah, and he worked on like the Bible for the franchise, so
Yeah, show
and
Bible.
he is the reason that the YouTuber Duck Bricks, who did a great series on Bionicle lore, actually talked to him about Hero Factory and got some details about where the story was headed.
Yep.
Um, which we will be getting to later. But yeah, music here we have music by David and Eric Wurst, who they do a lot of the work on like the Lego stuff, like all of the stuff on Disney Plus, the like Lego Star
Yeah.
Wars
So like the
show.
random Lego like
Yeah,
film or episodes that they release for each toy line. Yeah.
yeah,
So going over to the basic story of the Rise of Rookies is that we have Furno, who is a rookie at the Hero Factory, a factory that assembles custom robots to police the galaxy, gives them life and emotions.
yeah. We'll talk about that.
Yes, we're not supposed to think about that as a kid, and nobody did. But now as
Yeah,
an adult, it is very questionable. But on a mission with Stormer, a team leader who is tough on rookies, Furno accidentally lets a villain escape. And back at the factory, mission coordinator Zib and the mysterious owner of Hero Factory, Mr. Makuro, who definitely isn't suspicious in the slightest, talks about Furno's potential. And while leading a routine mission with the rookies, Stormer and Furno get called to answer a distress signal, and Furno is able to prove themselves with the other rookies by capturing the villain who previously escaped, and Stormer starts to warm up to him. Later, the heroes answer a distress call from a space station city run by Police Chief Drax. They arrive, but Drax tells them that it was all a misunderstanding. Stormer refuses to leave, and Drax attacks them, seemingly possessed by an evil entity. Furno almost gets hit by a blast, but Stormer knocks him out of the way. Back at the factory, Zib discovers that Stormer has been infected by some with the same nanobots that infected Drax, the police guy. And
yeah,
Stormer attacks the heroes and tries to escape. And Frono goes after him, and he's able to bring him back by reminding him of Von Ness, a former rookie who went rogue. And Zib is also able to cure Stormer. Meanwhile, in a black hole somewhere, Von Ness, now renamed Von Nebula, is plotting something. The heroes are called to investigate something in the city, but get ambushed by Von Nebula's forces. They fight, and Stormer and Inferno end up in Von Nebula's black hole. Inferno is able to destroy the black hole somehow and take Von Nebula's mysterious staff. And after the mission, the rookies are made full-fledged heroes. Uh, then there's the Ordeal of Fire episode, which the Fire King has a grudge against Stormer, Preston Stormer, and they fight. They get upgrades.
Yeah, it's mainly an episode to explain why the heroes look different in the new sets than they looked before.
Yeah, pretty much to explain also the new upgraded builds of Lego
Yes.
for this. There's also another random episode that we didn't talk about as well.
Yeah, there this is like very standard superhero stuff. It's very comic booky in that like episodic way of
Yeah,
each episode is its own kind of contained story. Um and I like that structure for this, that it starts out as we're just going to go on missions. I actually wish they had leaned into it further because these episodes didn't need to be 20 minutes each. There's a lot of space of like that one episode where half of the people go to the planet with the giant dune style rattlesnake and they're just like fighting the rattlesnake. Like, yeah, it's just that doesn't
yeah,
need to be it's in that episode. So
sure,
I
yeah.
was kind of imagining like what if they had done, instead of 5 20-minute episodes, if they had done 10 10-minute episodes and just done
Yeah,
like a bunch
I
of
don't
little
know.
missions. But it's a smart way to start the story, to just be like, we're putting these characters on these missions,
Yeah.
kind of building up Von Nebula, who ends up being a very disappointing villain. But it's like,
It,
no, they're doing well established but functional story structure things
it's
here.
also a thing to point out that 10-minute episodes weren't as popular at this time.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's just my like what if idea.
yeah. Yeah, and that's more of like a Cartoon Network thing than Nickelodeon. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah. That being said, these are just very basic stories with heroes
yeah.
fighting a villain with a different villain in each episode with different designs. Um,
You watch a lot of these like superhero type shows, so I am curious to hear, how does this compare to like, I mean, obviously like the Batman stuff tends to be a bit better, but
sure. Like, I'd say this is probably more in line to like watching a Spider-Man cartoon,
okay.
especially with Furna, who's young and having to figure things out. But like watching Spider-Man, watching a uh, Avengers TV show, just
Okay. Oh, I remember
team-based.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, like anything like team-based heroes that you'd watch. It's like, yeah, it's like that. It's
Yeah.
not terrible. It
Yeah.
does the
Yeah.
jobs. It leans into the some of the tropes of the genre, and it works pretty well. Like for kids, yeah, I enjoyed, but like it doesn't really stand out to me as an adult. I would say.
Yeah. I wish that they had focused more on what makes Hero Factory different, which is that these are heroes that can be customized for missions. So, are you at all? This is maybe a nerdy reference, but are you all at all familiar with the Armored Core video game franchise?
Vaguely.
So it's like a mech fighting game, but the
Sure.
thing
Yeah.
is, before each mission, you can customize your mech and like get upgrades based on what the mission is going to
Hmm.
require. So like, oh, you need the enemy is very fast, so you need to dodge a lot, so you're going to do a more agility based build. Or this is like a rough terrain. I guess terrain doesn't usually matter much in the little bit that I've played, but like you can have like a tank treads on your mech, or you can swap everything out. And I was kind of wishing that they made this show focus more on that. Like each
So
episode should have customization sequences where they're like, this is the armor that stops acid, which they do that in one episode, or like this is the space helmet.
so like after this, they start releasing just like one episode or two episodes that are just longer for each season, and that's when
Yeah.
they do that sort of thing. So
Okay.
next up, we go to the jungle, and they wear jungle armor. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
this is
you're right. Like for a show like this, they probably should have focused on that, but um, I get it. They just want to introduce the characters
yeah.
and focus
I'm just
more
like,
on villains and
yeah.
such.
I think each episode though they should have, because it doesn't take long and you can reuse a lot of the same animation. Just be like, we're putting on the snow tires, that type of thing of like we have
Yeah,
the upgrade sequence and they say out loud, we're putting on the running shoes, they make you fast but they aren't quite as strong, so you won't be
right.
able to carry as much, like that kind of stuff. And then what really surprises me is that they never did any of this with the sets.
Right, which is probably why they didn't do it. Is because if they did it, then
Yeah,
people would be disappointed that the toys didn't do it. So they were
yeah,
probably told not to do something like that.
because I could
Unfortunately,
imagine, because like I think we've talked about this, but the business model of Barbie dolls, the dolls
yeah.
themselves are very cheap to buy.
Mm,
What's expensive is the clothes. You know, you get your Barbie doll for like $5. I mean, if you want a nicer Barbie, they aren't $5, but you get your Barbie doll for $5. But then, what do you do with her? She doesn't have. She only has the one dress she came with, so you have to go and spend $5 more for like a pack of like two different outfits,
mm,
and that's where they make their money. So I could imagine a hero factory where you buy your little Furno figure, and then for an extra cost you can buy the Furno underwater pack, and it comes with a little like scuba gear that you can attach on, or you can buy like the snow pack. And like there's an opportunity there for like very merchandisable stuff that they could then move into the show that would highlight what makes Hero Factory special.
sure. Yeah. But yeah, it could have just been a cost thing to do that they were trying to cut costs
Yeah,
on those, especially with the collectibles. At this point, they're trying to cut as much cost as they can.
yeah.
So
But honestly, like I think if they were smart about it, they wouldn't have a ton of overhead. But that would be difficult to. But you could even make the like little packs that come alongside the action figure, that you could put them on any of the action figures, so you don't have
right,
to make as many unique pieces. Um, if they had gone that direction, I think, and later on in the line, I believe they had a like build your own Hero Factory character. So that's a little bit closer to what I'm imagining
right,
of just like,
because later on in the line, yeah, there was not a whole lot of customization with the first wave of Hero Factory.
yeah,
So I don't know if you remember the sets for this. Um,
I didn't have any of the sets, but I was watching a video, and yeah, they switched
you,
building styles,
yeah.
or
So
like,
like in the first wave, Preston and the other like veteran guys, their arm is just one piece with
yeah,
which is their big gun, and I found that so disappointing. The heroes as a sets for the first wave were so disappointing, but the villains were actually pretty good. So that's
yeah.
what you cared more about. My history with Hero Factory. I guess we forgot to
Oh yeah,
mention
we
this.
didn't mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was following Hero Factory from the beginning. I watched these episodes as they aired on Nickelodeon,
Okay.
so
Neat.
that I'd follow it pretty much earlier on, and I kind of got out of it towards the end because I was just so frustrated that I don't know, they just weren't doing enough, or
Yeah.
the directions that they went. Because like next up, we're going to talk about this next, but they go to the jungle, and it's like all the characters are now like animal themed for some stupid reason. And it's like, what's this? Why? They were planning to do a cowboy theme, but they went against that. Could you imagine? Like stuff like that.
Oh,
I was like, okay, we had enough with Bionicle doing like the different themes, and now we're doing this here. But like they don't make much sense. But yeah, no. Yeah, Hero Factory is complicated.
yeah.
The change into the new models was just very controversial because they weren't compatible with like the Bionicle models with those
Yeah.
pieces. It was a whole new system, and it was like, oh wow,
Is it
we're
like CCBS? Like,
yeah, it was CCBS, and like
I
it's
forget what that stands for, so that's not helpful for listeners, but I could look it up as you're continuing with your
essentially
thoughts.
a character creation build system.
Yeah.
So it's basically like you could do more of an action figure with like less technical pieces that would break. Like, yeah, these pieces they were really strong. They worked really well. But there was the customization was not as nicer or as rougher as Bionicle. We got like slicker pieces, just different
Yeah.
plates that were just smooth, and you put a sticker on it to give it detail, which was not as exciting as having the detail already on the piece.
Yeah, there's fewer unique pieces. Every set kind of has a similar, like, they seem to do like a pretty good job of making distinct shapes and that kind of stuff, but the base is the same and
Yeah,
the different pieces are very similar, so it's
but
it's
the
fewer
the
pieces for
the
them
wave
to.
that they introduced that system was just every character looked exactly the same,
Yeah.
which was like disappointing. It was like, oh, it's just the same pieces, but like a different weapon or a slightly different color to the weapon, and you
Yeah.
couldn't really tell them apart outside of color, which is a big no-no in character design, really. But it's a
And
frustrating thing.
this system has stuck around for like the more action figure type sets, right?
Yeah, so like the Star Wars Lego
Yeah.
builds or
The stuff
whatnot.
that don't sell in stores
Yeah, the stuff that don't sell,
because
but
they're
like
ugly.
they are, but yeah, they work
Yeah.
better than
For
Bionicle in terms of posability and like
yeah.
action and stuff.
For
They
for the
don't
Hero
break as
Factory.
often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the Hero Factory themselves look better. It's when you get into like the Luke Skywalker where it's like that's not how a person looks. So
No, no, when it's just like one piece for their head instead of
yeah.
building the head, it's not as strong. Works better for like armored characters like a stormtrooper or Darth Vader, but like
Yeah.
for humans, it just doesn't look right.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how many changes they're making, and they're trying to, as we've been talking about throughout the series, one of the problems with Bionicle for Lego is that there were so many custom pieces, and Lego just doesn't have the storage for all of those molds. And then also, you want to be able to like reuse pieces that you haven't
Yeah,
been able to fit into sets. So having this more standardized model makes sense as a way of, okay, we want to continue doing our action figure type characters,
but it's not cost
but
effective to make a new piece for each
yeah.
character. Essentially, we're just going to simplify the process, and if we can like do detailing in terms of like stickers, then that's the direction to go,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what they did.
And
Because
the
they
smart thing,
hold the models for 5 years, and if it's not used in 5 years, they destroy the models because it's
yeah.
cheaper to recreate the model than to like store it.
Yeah. So yeah, it makes sense, and especially when you add in the like, you could at a not anymore, but at a certain point you could order your own, like, build a bear but with Hero Factory. You could
Sure.
customize your
Yeah.
own and order it, and that's like really cool and something that Bionicle wouldn't have been able to do to that same extent
But it
because you
was
have
pretty
so many
limited.
custom pieces. But yeah, so yeah, it's interesting and very controversial, and I may have to see next time I'm at the store if they have any of these action figures on clearance,
So
just so I can pick up and feel what it is like to build
they got
one.
so they no longer make
Oh, they
CCBS
don't?
figures.
Okay.
Yeah, they started phasing that out
I
by
still see
like
them at the store because I don't think
y-
they sell well.
yeah, like what they have there has been there for a long time,
Yeah.
and very likely they're Rogue One figures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll I'll have to see if I can find one. I'm just curious since I never built any of these as a kid.
yeah.
Um
So building them, I was always very disappointed because like there was not a whole lot of options. Like
yeah.
there was not a whole lot of options in terms of like you had like the little ball joint here, put the piece of armor right there, little ball
Yeah.
joint there, put the piece of armor right there, put the sticker on the armor, there's your new piece. But we're not talking about the toys, we're talking about the show. It's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, the this thing though of like the customization, that is such an interesting, and there's so much you can dig into with these characters who every time they go on a mission, they are being put in a new body. And like what does that do to the robot's identity? Because these are sentient robots that have
Yeah, they
souls.
are.
Um so it reminds me, thinking about that reminded me of Ghost in the Shell. Especially the show, the movie does dig a lot into this, but the show also has more space to kind of explore what does identity look like for someone living inside a changing body. And that's actually perfect for what Lego Hero Factory, the demographics they're targeting. They're targeting kids who are about to go through puberty and about to have this experience of like their body's changing and you aren't quite sure what your identity is, that you're trying to figure yourself out and how are you going to be as an adult. Like there's so much there that they could have used, but they just kind of don't because it's just like the robots are fighting the bad guys. Hooray.
Yeah, the story kind of goes a much more simpler direction
Yeah.
here. Like Ninjago, they explore more in Ninjago. Ninjago is really the successor to Bionicle, not Hero Factory, in terms of a
The
story
true
level.
heir. Yeah.
The true heir. Hero Factory is the heir in terms of like parts,
Yeah.
the Technic system, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I wish that they, not even on a story level, just on a like emotional character level. Like these characters, we'll get to them. They're not very interesting. They
They
don't have a
have
lot going on.
yeah, they have like one character trait, and that's
Yeah.
it. Which later on, some of that traits get abandoned for like the, it's like okay, we need to make this character the central for this plot line. What do we do? Just redo him. Just give him a personality. It's like, oh, okay.
But yeah, imagine if we're actually getting these characters as like they're trying to figure out who they are within this
Hmm.
world, as they're also like having these bodies that are constantly changing. Like one day you're the agile, super fast person, and then the next you're the tank. Like it's so interesting of an idea, and then just to have them be like, nope, we don't care about that. We're just doing regular superhero show
It's like
stuff.
Cars. Cars 3, Lightning McQueen is an older model vehicle that's not
Yeah.
as fast, so I don't know how that works.
the, there are, we can't get into my planes 2 tangent. I think I've gotten into it before. From how you reacted, I think I've gotten into it before with you. But the ethical dilemmas of planes.
The whole franchise is a very questionable ethical dilemma.
Yes. I mean, Hero Factory is as well. They have these like sentient
Yes.
beings that are created to like for this one specific
So
purpose and
you,
have
you
to
have
like
the
fulfill it.
heroes, you have the cameras, you have that little robot that squeaks.
Yeah. It's so odd, and I wish that they dug into it a little bit. Even like Von Nebula being this character who was like designed to be a hero but then goes against that. Like what's his inner psychology like? And the show is just like, no, don't think about that. He's the villain. Just
He's the
let it
villain.
go.
He went into a black hole. He's the villain.
he gets blown up inside of his black hole, and then we don't see him again. Were we planning on doing anything with him? I don't know. He's gone now. Don't think about him.
Yeah, don't worry. The heroes won. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
yeah. There's like the enemy. The bad guys are just they're nothing. And with what they're building up to in terms of the twist, which I won't reveal yet, like there should be something there.
There should be, yeah.
Yeah. I I don't know what they were doing, what they were thinking. I have a rant that I need to get to at some point here,
Yeah.
but I think we have more points to get through before I get to that rant.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any story points before I go on long
Not,
tan or
no, not really.
no?
I don't have much to say
Yeah.
about Hero Factory in
There's
general.
there's not much to talk about with these episodes beyond like missed potential.
Yeah, that's really how I felt about Hero Factory. It's like, okay, you have some cool potential, but you don't really do a whole lot with it. You do
Yeah.
your basic filler superhero episodes, and not arcs in general. I mean,
Yeah. I should go on my tangent now. So
okay.
cuz yeah, it's difficult to figure out what exactly the heroes are fighting for beyond a vague sense of justice.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't see any civilians except for like the workers in Ordeal of Fire. And that's probably a cost saving thing of like they didn't want to animate it, but it the worlds feel empty outside of these heroes. It's like they're just play sets that the heroes can have their battles in. There's no sense of like what's the political structure of this galaxy that they live in. What are the people, what do the people of this galaxy look like? We have absolutely no idea. Like are they all robots?
Seems that way.
Apparently. What there's nothing there. It's like with Bionicle, and I'm not as familiar with early Bionicle, but with Bionicle, you had this through line of we're trying to reawaken Matanui. That's like the big end goal. And then we can structure everything. Okay, we have the Matoran, we have the Toa, we have all of these different things.
Yeah, the
And there's
different
a sense,
tribes of the Matoran as
yeah,
well. So like you knew where they were, where
yeah.
they lived.
And you just have a sense of the world and of the story and where it is all headed. Here it's just like here are a bunch of space police. Ta-da!
No civilians, just
Yeah.
the
No.
people who
No.
turn bad,
Yeah.
like that officer
It's
or the
yeah, no,
reporter.
there's
That's it. Yeah,
yeah.
or the
And the
workers
report
inside the factory.
yeah. It's like yeah, there's nothing to latch on to. And it's just like they're just fighting because they need to fight because that's what the story tells them to do. Which, okay, there is a lot of stuff going on in the background. There's clearly a lot of stuff going on in the background. Even in episode one, there's a certain moment where a certain character shows up, and I went, I think I know exactly what this character is up to. That I looked it up after the episode was done, and I was like, yes, I figured it out. It is all stuff that was going to happen and then didn't happen because the story ended too soon. Like
Yeah,
They're setting up the way I would compare it to is like this is Star Wars in the High Republic era of things seem like they're going pretty good. We have our police force that's keeping everyone safe, and the bad guys are like popping up every once in a while, but we can deal with them. But there's something a lot more sinister going on that no one seems to recognize. There's like plans happening underneath. The problem is that's not a very interesting place to start your story. Like, there's a reason Star Wars doesn't start with the Phantom Menace. Like, regardless of what you think of the Phantom Menace,
Sure.
you don't watch the Phantom Menace and then go, "Huh, I wonder what's going to happen next in this story." It's just kind of like, okay, I guess that's a story. I
Mhm.
don't know. It's yeah, you can build an interesting story around that, but here's the thing I'm leading up to is it doesn't matter how good your twist is if the story leading up to that twist isn't good enough to keep people engaged.
Right.
So I think a lot of like modern TV where there's I think it's a Tumblr post that I've seen floating around every once in a while that it used to be you'd have a TV show called Surf Dracula was something like that. And in each episode Dracula would go surfing. That was like here's the show, this is what we're going to do. Today in modern TV, you have Surf Dracula. The first season is Dracula's backstory. The entire season is just setting up who Dracula is. And then the last episode at the end credits ends with the sound of waves teasing the fact that there is going to, at some point, be surfing.
Hmm.
And then the show gets canceled by Netflix, and you never get to see Dracula surf.
Yeah, that is correct.
This is the Hero Factory thing. It's like the thing they are building up to is brilliant. We'll get into it. It is phenomenally good. None of the stuff that they're doing right now is at all interesting.
It could also just be a point where, um, like this happens. Lego did this for the second generation of Bionicle, but it could also
Yeah.
be a thing where Christian Faber and whoever was also working on the notes, the creation for the
Yeah.
series, had like in depth stuff that Lego was like, okay, cool. I like the heroes. Let's just do that and simplified that.
that's that's fair. Yeah. I think this is though here I think it's more that they're trying to do the Bionicle thing again. Of Bionicle, they're like, we have this world idea, this like brilliant idea for a world. And then the sales were so good for like the first little bit that they're like, let's just move that reveal down further and further.
Sure.
So here, rather than doing that, they're actually building it with the idea of, okay, we have this reveal, but we're going to start knowing that we're going to put that reveal a little bit down the road. The problem is the stuff getting to that reveal, since they are planning series long arcs, the stuff at the beginning is very boring. I'd compare it to I haven't seen the full season of it, but Lord of the Rings on Amazon. Of like, they know they have 5 seasons, so the first season is all set up, and the response to it is, this is boring.
Yeah.
And
I
you
mean,
hope that eventually down the road it will get to something, but there's no guarantee of that. And like with Lego Hero Factory, it got canceled before they got to anything. And I don't want to blame the creators. I think this is the pressures of having to follow up something Bionicle, along with like the corporate pressure of you need to make something that will sell.
also like this is a toy first and
Yeah. Yeah.
story second as well.
I just yeah, for me it's like there needs to be a better hook than their police that get built, but them being built is not like a thing that we're going to deal with.
Hmm.
and they go on missions, and there's a bad guy, and the bad guy is like a former hero who turned into a villain, but we're not going to do anything with that. Have fun.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
No. You can somewhat understand like my disappointment with Hero
yeah,
Factory,
yeah,
especially when compared to Bionicle, which was just so
yeah.
crazy with how detailed and wild
Which,
the
yeah,
lore went into.
because Bionicle, they're like, we have a year, and then we're gonna reveal a year or two, and then we're gonna reveal the big secret that this is all taking place on a giant robot.
Yeah.
So that year or two, they're like, we need to make the story really engaging. We only have a year or two to tell this story. Let's put everything in there. Let's develop these characters, tell an interesting story, and then do our big reveal. And then it gets shifted down the road a little bit. So then they're like, okay, we have time to expand stuff a little bit. With Hero Factory, they seem to be planning of like, okay, we have this giant reveal that we're gonna have like 5 years in. So we're gonna build and build and build to that giant reveal. And then they got canceled after 4 years.
Yeah, I don't
They
understand that.
they never got to the best thing about it. They never got to. They never reached the most interesting thing. And it's, yeah, it's just like it again, I can keep bringing up examples of like the Assassin's Creed movie with Michael Fassbender. It's like all build up, or like the M Night Shyamalan The Last Airbender movie. It's like these things are assuming that they are going to have,
B trilogies, yeah.
yeah, be franchises, and then they end. It's like, oh, there's nothing beyond that.
Yeah, they put their focus on like making a trilogy. So they're like,
Yeah.
okay, this is good, the beginning part. I'm so upset about Assassin's Creed because it could have been so good. It could have been.
Yeah, yeah. No, the director is great, and like Michael Fassbender, incredible. But yeah, just it doesn't ever, or like the Tom Cruise The Mummy, or these things where they're
Oh,
focusing more.
oh yeah.
Even a lot of like the DC stuff of like, we're gonna assume that we will be able to continue this series, so we're just gonna take our time, take things real slow. It's like, that's not how you build a compelling story. You have to hook the audience early on. Or every Netflix show. That's why people are so disappointed when Netflix shows get canceled after 1 or 2 seasons. Because it's like a lot of the shows, I don't know. A
I
lot of
mean, a
the
lot of
Netflix shows that
shows
get
in
canceled
general.
are not good, but they're potentially leading up to something better.
Hmm.
And then they get canceled, and people are like, oh, but I was hoping it would get good. It's like, but it wasn't good to start out with.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I was thinking of the 18 something or other that's set on a ship, and it's like a mystery show, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And then I read reviews, and they're like, it doesn't go anywhere in the first season, wait for season 2. And then they canceled it after 1 season. I'm like, okay, now I no longer need to watch that.
Yeah, and it's like usually like if you have a paper thin plot, you have stronger characters to keep you
Yeah,
interested. But the character, like mentioned before, the characters have one trait given to them.
yeah, which we should definitely start talking about the characters now that we've been talking about the plot for an hour.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I gave the story here a 3 out of 5. I like the structure of it being like
Yeah.
these episodic adventures. There's just, it doesn't hook me.
Yeah. I also give it a 3, which is pretty generous, but like it's yeah, I don't really care to do anything else.
Yeah. The characters, we have Furno, he's the rookie.
He's the rookie.
That's like it. He has a relationship with Stormer, that starts out antagonistic and then they kind of learn to be friends. And I think like that moment between them when Furno is trying to like save Stormer from himself, like that's an interesting thing. But I don't care about either of these characters.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not like Gresh and a car. A car, he cares. Stormer doesn't. But
Yeah.
yeah, Stormer
Well, we'll talk
doesn't
about that.
care. Yeah,
Stormer, okay, he's like he was giving off a very like your conservative uncle who owns way too many guns vibe. I don't know if you were getting that. I think there is a reason that I was getting that vibe from him, which we'll talk about when we get to performances. But yeah, the way he acts, I think with having in mind what the twist was going to be, I think he would have been a very interesting character once they had gotten to the twist. But as he is right now, he's kind of like the yeah, why are you here? You do you like being a hero or are you just here for like also it doesn't help that we don't see any civilians, so we don't know what these heroes think of the civilians.
sure. Do they
Like
want to be
what's their
heroes?
relationship?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
What who are these? Who are these people? Why should I care about them? Beyond the fact that they are toys. Come on,
Mm.
Lego, sell me on these characters.
He's the white one. We like the white
Yeah.
one. They usually have a cool design.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like what who are the who are you? Tell me more about yourself. What's your hobbies? I guess we don't really know the Bionicle character hobbies, but like
They have some.
yeah, I guess they don't get into that in the movies, but I would buy that the Bionicle characters have hobbies.
Mm-hmm. They
I
have a
don't buy
sport.
that these characters have hobbies.
Sure.
I think when the camera cuts away from them, they stand there motionless and do nothing.
Mm-hmm. I wonder. I don't know if they included like personality traits on the canisters of the
Yeah,
toys. I don't remember, or if the Hero Factory website still existed, they probably had like descriptions of each character that would
yeah,
explain their personality. But like we said, it's like a really small trait.
yeah. It's there's not enough here for me to care about these two or any of the other heroes because there are four entire other hero characters.
Yeah.
Which okay, maybe you'll have an answer for this. I was going to Google it and then I forgot to. Why is it always six?
Um.
And is
I
it
don't
always
know.
six? Because how many is it with My Little Pony? Like the core characters.
So, with My Little Pony, they usually it's like a lot, but
Yeah.
it became six in like Generation Four, so around the same
Okay.
time. Generation Five is five though, so
Okay. Because like
it's like five or six is like the good
yeah,
number for characters, I guess.
because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is
Is four.
four. Um, I was trying to think of other. I don't know enough about like Winx or any of those things. I think Tinkerbell, those movies, it's five or six. Um, but yeah, I was trying to think of like why six? Because we know that the colors that sell best are the red and the blue and the green, and then probably the white and the black. Then there's always that one color that they've been swapping out with Bionicle because the brown wasn't selling well. Then the black but slightly different black wasn't selling well, and then the orange wasn't selling well, and then the tan wasn't selling very well.
Now we got silver.
Now we have silver. Why not just knock that one out and just do the 5 colors that actually sell.
I don't know.
Because story wise, those two characters, I don't even remember. One of them's like Stringer. I should pull up the
Yeah,
character names
Stringer.
here. Yeah, Stringer, Jimmy Stringer,
Yep.
and Duncan
Bulk.
Bulk. Okay. Duncan Bulk is a gay porn star name. Also, Jimmy Stringer is also a gay porn star. Also, Mark Surge. Also, Preston Stormer. These are all gay porn star
It's
names.
it's it's the first names that make it so questionable.
Anyway, these characters like Bulk and Stringer are completely interchangeable. One is strong and one grapples, but they don't serve different functions in the story. It's
Mhm.
just, yeah. It's like we could get rid of them. And the reason I bring that up is that none of these other heroes are interesting, and they're just taking away time from other things.
I don't know. There is probably a reason behind it, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
There must be some marketing
It,
reason.
it could be like an aesthetic of like, okay, if we have six, three of this type and three of this type, I guess
Yeah.
it's like they want symmetry, and five
And
is, I don't know.
yeah. Six might also be the like last number before it's too many for parents to buy their kids all of them.
True.
Like that may be the upper limit.
Hmm.
Because I could definitely see a parent going, okay, yeah, you could have a sixth one. Whereas if it's seven, the parents are only going to buy three for their kids.
Hmm.
If there's six, then maybe they'll buy all six. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it makes sense that they are, from a story perspective, you can explain why these characters are so cookie cutter and that they're built in a factory. But in order to do that, you would actually have to get into what does identity look like for these characters. Like, imagine an arc where like, is it what's his name? Mark Surge. Imagine that there's a story where he's like, why am I like the goofy sidekick? Why
Yeah.
am I programmed to be the goofy sidekick? Can't I be the smart one? So he like spends a bunch of time in the library and becomes the smart one.
Then we got Natalie Breathed.
Yeah.
Porn Von Ness has no normal name.
No. Yeah. These names. Yeah, they're just. I mean, yeah. The most interesting thing about them are that they have bad names. Why do they have first names?
I don't
Why
know.
is the robot named William?
I don't know. The only name I remember is Preston Stormer because the Fire King says it all the time.
Yeah, it's just like Preston. Like I don't look at that robot and go, ah, yes, Preston. Uh, yeah, we talked a bit about Von Nebula. He has an interesting backstory, but there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. He has a cool looking design ish.
Yeah, he has the whose mask does he have from Bionicle?
Hydraxon.
Okay. That's what I was going to say, but I was worried
Yeah.
if I said the
He
wrong
has a
name.
black version of Hydraxon's mask, which like I freaking loved. It's
Yeah.
like it's like part of my brand.
Oh yeah. That's yeah.
That's my figure, my
That's
Bionicle
why he looked
figure,
so so familiar.
right?
I was like, "Oh, I've seen this guy before." I thought it was
using
just, oh yeah, Hydraxa, but no,
pretty much
that
the
makes
same
sense.
pieces. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he looks cool, but
There's
there's
nothing
nothing
else.
there as a
Yeah,
character.
I like the Nebula thing. It's like, oh, that's a cool thing, but nothing there. He's voiced
Yeah.
by Mark Hamill. What a
Yeah.
waste of a talent.
We'll get to the wasted talent when we get to the performances. Uh yeah. And then the other villains are just a lot of nothing.
They're just like goofy,
Yeah.
but a different type of goofy each one.
Yeah. It's
But at least
wait,
like they
okay,
have
okay.
creative designs. I'll
Okay.
say.
So in the first episode, we are introduced to Explode and Rotor. Explode explodes things, Rotor flies around. Then we're
Yeah.
introduced to Corroder, and it's like, oh, he has acid. Then we're introduced to Meltdown. He has nuclear radiation.
That can
What are
also
you
corrupt
doing?
cores.
What are you doing? What are you doing? No, I think it's that. Okay, here's my theory
Okay.
as to what's going on there, not knowing anything about any of these other episodes. I think that the nanobots are Von Ness or Von Nebula, that he's controlling them. And
Right.
so because Meltdown like shoots Stormer, that like opens up enough that the nanobots can go inside him.
Yes, but I thought that they were all working for Von Nebula.
Yeah.
Were they not?
Ultimately I think they are. I don't
Okay.
know. They don't make it entirely clear what the relationship between, because they don't explain anything about Von Nebula. Why is he in a black hole? Why does he run
I
a
don't know.
criminal empire? Why
None of
why
these
did he
characters.
leave the Hero Factory?
None of these villains return. They're one-off villains.
Yeah, not
Makuta,
even Von Nebula.
they couldn't kill Makuta. Like he kept coming back.
Yeah, Makuto was around for too much. These characters are uh but nuclear radiation, how do you get to that? You're like, I need a superpower for the villain in my kids franchise. What if he shot nuclear radiation at people?
Why not? Sells well, I guess. They like the sour candy.
comes
Why not make
comes
it a toy?
comes with its own plutonium, so you can irradiate your friends.
Right? His shoulders were like these tubes of vats. He had a
I'm
tentacle.
I'm I'm trying to make a joke to relate it to Oppenheimer, but I can't come up with anything, so I'll just put it out there and let the listeners come up with their own Oppenheimer jokes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
this
the
is.
fire gang as well. They're fire, I
Oh
guess.
yeah, we haven't talked much about the fifth episode with good reason, because the fifth episode exists to explain why they've upgraded into new forms.
I always liked the Fire King. He was a really cool
He's
villain.
fun.
Doesn't do anything after
So
this. His
yeah,
design was pretty neat. I
yeah, no,
loved his
he like
set.
the animation on him is just so like crunchy in like a good way.
Yes.
I don't know how to describe, but like very
Craggly, like
tactile.
yeah.
Cragly, yeah. It's just like it's very good design. I was thinking, so to be honest, at this point, I fell asleep for part of episode 4. Um and then episode 5 I was like half paying attention to as I was writing my notes.
Hmm.
And so I looked away, and then the Fire Lord was monologuing at Preston.
Preston Stormer.
and, and I was like, the way the monologue was going, I was like, oh, is he like a former Hero Factory person that has like gone to the other side and is like, because he's talking about like power. Now that I have all of this power, it's like intoxicating and I'm addicted to power. I'm like, oh, that's a good thing of like he got upgraded too quickly. And then the new power that he has like infected his brain. That's a really cool arc. I was thinking he was one of the characters that had been introduced at the start of the episode, like Evo or Nex,
No,
and that he had turned evil. No, I had to like go back and like, oh no, that's not
he
what
was just a
happened at all.
civilian who, got turned
Yeah.
into the Fire King because Stormer failed or something.
Yeah,
Which would be
there's
more effective if we saw civilians.
yeah. There's something that could be there, but it isn't there. None of these characters are particularly interesting. And again, there's an incredible twist coming. It doesn't matter because I don't care about any of these people.
There's not a
Uh,
twist coming. It never happened.
well, yeah, technically there's not a twist coming. Officially, there's not a twist coming. There was a planned twist that never happened, but that we
they
maybe
couldn't
know.
just like release it in like a book.
I think it was like further down the road. Well, I'll tell you about the twist after we're done recording because we'll have to
Okay,
talk about it next episode.
I'll have to
Um,
watch something then.
yeah,
Watch the
I
Duck
found
Bricks
it. I
video.
found like an article about it. It's not in the Duck Bricks video that I watched,
Okay.
but he like tweeted about it, and I read an article about the tweets. Anyway, characters. I gave them a 2 out of 5. There's a lot of potential, but it's not there.
I give it a high 3 because I don't really care.
Onto the visuals. This is very similar to the Legend Reborn in terms
Where
of
it's like modeled after the actual sets
yeah,
themselves. They look like the sets.
yeah,
But it's like a bit of a more of an improved version of that because instead of just a bland desert, we got locations.
yeah. The locations are cool. Some of them are like here's a pit of dirt, and those aren't quite as cool.
No.
But like the factory, the cities, the like
Yeah.
city space station, that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is better in that sense. And yeah, it feels like it's weird because this is the same animation studio, the same director, the same writer, everyone's the same. But it feels like they learned so much from the last one. Like the action is slightly better. It's still a little janky, but
I mean, everyone has guns now, so it's
yeah,
like, okay, now we could just fire and dodge.
yeah. But even the like melee combat is better.
Right. Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it is a definite improvement. And I like that they have like they've kept the thing of like the textures on the characters,
Mm-hmm.
how weathered they look actually has like connection to the story. Um it's good visual storytelling that we haven't seen a ton outside of the Legend Reborn. Yeah. I think I had something else, but I forget what it was. Oh, we should acknowledge that the easiest way to watch these is on YouTube, locked in 240p.
Yeah.
It does not
Or
look good.
or if you bought like the the 3 seasons of when they released on DVD, because after that they didn't release it on DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to find high quality versions of this, but you can still tell that the animation behind the 240p
Yeah.
is actually
You
pretty
can
solid.
figure that it's probably decent.
Yeah. Visually, I think this is the best we've seen from Mark Baldo.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So yeah, in that spirit, I gave this a 4 out of 5.
And I give it a 3.8.
Yeah. Performances. Okay. This cast just
So a thing that I wasn't on the Legend Reborn episode, so I couldn't like
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about this, but it's apparent that they switched to a Californian-based voice company, so that's why you can
Okay.
have like bigger name actors.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why we have Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mark Hamill. He
Mark
plays Von
Hamill,
Ness.
he
Um
does.
Henry Winkler is
Yeah,
here. He
yeah.
plays Zib.
Zib. Malcolm
Um,
McDowell.
yeah.
This is the role I think of when I think of Malcolm McDowell. Because this is how
uh,
I was introduced to him, is by like, I like the voice of this robot, and then I watched him in other stuff like Clockwork Orange. So
yeah, that's the like other thing I guess he isn't really known for Hero
yeah,
Factory outside of people who know him
right,
for Hero Factory, but yeah.
yeah. So the Storm King is voiced by D. Bradley Baker. That's not on our list here,
Yeah.
but like bigger names with
And
more time.
Jennifer Coolidge as Daniela Capricorn.
I don't know if I know her.
Oh, she's Jennifer. I'm gonna have to insert a picture of her saying she's Jennifer Coolidge. If she says that, that might just be on the SNL parody. She's. Did you get those like Uber Eats ads where there's the lady who's like eating the lipstick?
Lipstick delivered with Uber Eats? Oh, it tastes like purple.
Yeah,
That's Jennifer Coolidge. She has like a very specific voice, which here she isn't leaning into it as much as she sometimes does.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm a big fan of her from The White Lotus, where she plays the best character. I hope they find a way to bring her back in the next season because she is just phenomenal and so
I don't
good.
think I've ever seen her in anything else. So
Okay, yeah, that
that's yeah.
yeah, she's probably like most known for like American Pie, which doesn't really seem up your alley.
No, I haven't
Um,
seen that.
apparently she's in the Emoji Movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean she's just awesome, and I was
Okay.
excited to hear her voice, even though she isn't like leaning into it too much. But this is a good role for her of like the yeah, just very very fun. Wait, she's in the Minecraft movie. Okay, I'm gonna need to look into this one.
All right. She's yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it was exciting for me when she showed up.
Yeah.
Um, beyond that, okay, so I did need to talk about John Snyder, who plays Preston Stormer. And I mentioned that Preston Stormer seems like your conservative uncle who owns too many guns.
Well, yeah.
This actor, looking at his IMDb, I didn't go too deep into it.
From the Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah.
Yeah. He is also, like, in the last few years, especially, he has gone off the deep end of, like, conservative Christian propaganda films. Like, there's a whole bunch of, like, what would Jesus do type movies. And then there was, like, a Roe versus Wade that was like the conspiracy behind Roe versus Wade, which if you know anything about the history of Roe versus Wade, what? But anyway, it's like, okay, that makes sense as to why he was giving off those vibes.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
actor is
I
apparently
know.
that kind of person.
I know him from Smallville, where he
Okay, yeah.
plays Pa Kent,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, sure, yeah, that's
I think it's more recently that he's gone. Like all of the stuff on his letterbox that I was seeing was like that kind of stuff or like Shark Attack 3.
so, yeah. So like the not so high budget
Yeah,
films.
yeah.
Hmm.
Which is a career arc we see for people sometimes. They kind of,
I mean, he's a TV actor as
yeah,
well, so
yeah. And I don't know anything about his actual political beliefs. It's just what he has starred in is an interesting collection. But yeah, weird to have this big of name actors and like people that I recognize more. Which we had in the last movie, we had Jim Cummings and
Jim
Worf
Cummings.
from Star Trek, whose name
Yes.
is escaping me.
Oh, darn. Yeah.
Go listen to our Legend Reborn episode to hear us talk
M-
about that.
Michael Dorn.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dorn. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Also, a car is like the role I think of Jim Cummings.
Yes.
When I think of Jim Cummings.
I think of
So,
Winnie the Pooh.
well, I think
Or
of
the hyena
yeah.
from Lion King.
That's just the role that I was like, that's the actor that I know him from is a car. So
uh, yeah.
yeah,
I gave the performances. I think the performances are not an issue here. It's the characters and the writing. So I gave the performances a 4 out of 5.
yeah. I just gave it another 3.5. So
Yeah. Last up, we have sound. Just like The Legend Reborn, the score is just kind of nothing. It's generic kids cartoon score.
mm-hmm.
It's not as bad as The Legend Reborn, but it's not much better. Like, okay, you weren't on the episode. So my take with The Legend Reborn is that part of the reason that the action scenes feel so dull is because the score is not exciting enough.
Sure, yeah.
And I think this suffers the same problem. That's why I fell asleep during the 4th episode as they're all fighting the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just like, this is boring. And the couch is comfy. And then I fell asleep.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about the sound. It's
Yeah.
it's there.
Yeah.
That's why I give it a 3.
I gave it a 2.5. We've heard better.
We've definitely heard better, but like I've heard worse as well.
Well, yeah, this leaves my final score at a 15.5 out of 25, which is a 62% or a 3.1 on our 5-star scale.
And I have a 16.3, which is a 65% or a 3.26 5-star rating. So, yeah.
Not the worst.
Not the worst.
I wouldn't ever imagine myself, like if someone was saying, hey, I really want to watch a superhero show, but where the superheroes are robots and they get like customized, I would never recommend that they watch Hero Factory because it's just nothing.
I'd say Transformers, but
yeah, I would look up what is a show that is not Hero Factory that fits these exact specifications.
Yeah, there's definitely one out there.
Yeah,
if I can remember any of them, but
it's not so bad it's memorable. It's not so good it's memorable. It's just very nothing.
It's very nothing. But that will be the end of this week. So next week is the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to follow us on social media. We're Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, Binging Barbie on Twitter, and Serialized and Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review and go to our Patreon because we have stuff there. And we'll be back next week to talk about the rest of Hero Factory. And in 2 weeks, we'll be returning to Bionicle for our rankings. And also the Journey to One.
Yeah,
the Journey to One.
Yes. And then rankings.
Yes. And in the meantime, don't get eaten by any giant rattlesnakes. Because you're...
I'm trying to get as much airtime out of this sound effect as I can.
Okay, bye, Barbie.
Bye, Barbie.